Good afternoon and welcome to the 4 to 5. I am Chad Silber here with Tim Buckley, Lauren Coleman, and then digitally, Eric Chilton is here as well.
Hey Eric, having all the fun out there at the Beach Music Fest.
Yeah, I'm trapped. Let me out. Let me out of my little box here. Yeah, you know what? We're going to have so much fun today. Obviously, this is great. Not only is the weather really so much better than the last time we did this, you got the Band of Oz. I mean, one of the premier beach music bands anywhere, anytime, any place. So we're all excited about that. They're doing a little sound check down here. Gates will open in a short while, about 5:30. Music starts at 6. It's going to be a lot of fun today. We'll talk a little bit about some of the periphery, some of the other things going on around this, not just the music. We'll have all that more coming up in just a few.
Eric with the fun assignment today. We'll have more from him and more on you with the weather in a little bit. But first, we're going to hop into some news now. We do have a huge update about the senior prank at Williams High School in Alamance County. Nearly 90 graduating seniors at Alamance-Burlington schools won't be allowed to walk at graduation because of district-wide pranks.
Yeah, most of the students went to Williams where they caused more than $4,000 in damage. One of the teenagers involved shared his regret with us today.
So actually the police didn't look for me. I turned myself in the next day, thought it was the right thing to do, and I'm deeply apologetic to everybody who was involved. I'd like to issue an apology to Williams High School and to my family and friends who were all affected by this, and I'm working right now to try to make it right. I think that a lot of other kids who happen to be at Williams or other schools are now no longer able to walk at graduation just simply by being there, not for doing something as extreme as us. I think that that's not fair to those students, that they're almost in a way being punished for something that we did. So if there's one thing that I could ask of the school board from this, I would ask that you reconsider not allowing all these children to walk just because of something that we did.
5 students face charges. Investigators also identified 2 minor suspects. The district says the graduating seniors are suspended from campus for the remainder of the academic year and can't walk at graduation. Students in other grade levels accused of participating will be suspended for the rest of the year.
We learned some alarming new details today regarding a fire that killed 2 toddlers earlier this year. Michael Dennis, the dad of one of the kids, was in court today, and that's where prosecutors laid out some shocking details. You might remember Dennis was the owner of the house. Well, the DA said the front and back doors of the house were blocked, preventing the kids from getting out and preventing firefighters from getting in. They also said Dennis took down smoke detectors after DSS workers toured the house. His 2-year-old son and a 3-year-old died in the fire. The mother of the other child, Noel Cervantes, faces charges for murder and child abuse.
Right now, neighbors in Denton are breathing a sigh of relief after getting the all clear. They are safe. A Davidson County deputy, a shooting suspect, and another person are recovering from gunshot wounds. This after a shootout prompted a Denton neighborhood to shelter in place for hours early this morning. The situation happened on MH Drive near Ebel Church Road. Deputies responded to a shots fired call at 9:20 last night. They found someone had shot through a window of a house, injuring a man inside. The sheriff said what followed was an exchange of gunfire between deputies and the suspect. It took several hours to wrap up, but there is no longer a threat.
There could soon be new help on the way for domestic violence survivors. State lawmakers are considering a bill that would allow victims to get help paying debt brought on by their abuser. It would include allowing debt collectors to go after the abuser who might have forced the victim to incur that debt. The bill got unanimous bipartisan support in the House and is now headed to the Senate.
North Carolinians are moving closer to being allowed to bet on sports online. The state Senate passed a second reading of a bill that would allow the Lottery Commission to award 12 licenses. This would allow for operators to take online sports bets for any adult in North Carolina. The Senate held their final vote today and passed the bill. It will head back to the House because of an amendment the Senate approved.
Starting this weekend, some DMVs will be open on Saturdays in an effort to improve wait times. 2 locations in Greensboro and 1 in Winston-Salem are a part of that change. And a reminder here, the DMV is only allowing appointments up until 11 a.m. during the week.
I guess it's the end of the week now. You're getting closer and closer to the weekend and kind of taste it. We're a little due for some nice weekend weather, and it looks like this time around might actually cooperate pretty well. Live look across our Triad cities, lots of blue sky as we have seen really the good chunk of the day, but we're starting to find a couple of clouds moving into the area, mostly from east to west. And you can tell, just look at the temperature map. Notice how it's warmer out here, Mount Airy, Winston, Statesville, closer to 80 degrees, but to the east, it's cooler. 72 in Roxborough, 74 in Burlington. That's because of the clouds, which are pushing in east to west. The wind also blowing in a northeast direction at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. It's just great weather to be outside, though, perfectly comfortable. I will let you know, with those clouds that are approaching, there have been a few sprinkles right along Siler City. That's the only thing in our area right now for me to show you, though. So overall, it's a pretty good night. And tomorrow should be a beautiful day. Mid-60s for the morning, mid-80s. This will be our first day in the 80s for your Friday in a couple of weeks. The last time we got up there was May 17th. So it's been some time. You'll notice it as we go into tomorrow. The weekend, that should get off to a warm start as well. There will be a low chance of an evening shower or thunderstorm on Saturday. Mainly that would be after 5 p.m. So it shouldn't impact too many outdoor plans. But that cool weather you see up there in the north, that is sagging southward. Take a look here. Big changes in the temperatures. 83 tomorrow, 86 for Saturday. A little toasty for the first day of the weekend. That would be the day to get to the pool. Sunday would be the day to maybe do some yard work. It'll be cooler there in the low 70s, right around average going into next week.
It's time once again for the Town Bank Beach Music Festival. And of course, where there's beach music, our Eric Chilton won't be far away. He joins us live now. Eric, I wish I was out there with you.
I wish you were too. You know, I'm always sneaking around wherever there's beach music. I can't be too far away. Listen, Band of Oz is going to be here tonight. Legendary band. All people that don't even know beach music know the Band of Oz, and nobody knows it better than my friend right here, Keith Houston. Been there since the beginning, man. You guys. Well, you started playing with the band, maybe not the name Band of Oz, but when you were in what, middle school or
Middle school.
How old were you?
12. 12. Now everybody's got a kick out of it.
That's hilarious. So, and then you changed to Band of Oz. When did that name come around?
We were the Avengers, and about 1970, I guess 1970, around 1970, we changed the name to Oz. And one of the agents that used to book us, Boma Productions, Bowie Martin, said, "That's not long enough, guys. You're going to have to come up with something else." We said, "How about Band of Oz?" He said, "That'll work."
That'll work.
So we're Band of Oz.
It's funny. How many pieces do you go? These guys always have a lot of instruments. How many total do you have?
We've got 8 guys on stage now. Wow. And 3 guys off.
And music from all genre, right?
We do everything. I mean, we get pigeonholed as a beach band, but I mean, we do everything from Bruno Mars to My Girl.
Yeah,
and everything in between. Yeah.
I mean, it's all about making the people watch it have fun with you, right?
That's it. We want the people to come out and have a good time, and you've got to play something that'll hit the kids, the little kids from 5 or 6 that go to a wedding to grandma and grandpa. And if you hit 1 or 2 songs that any of them like, well, that was pretty good. You know, you've done a good day's work.
I've always said if the band's solid, that's your first check mark, and then after that you got to connect with people.
That's it. It's about coming out and everybody's just having a good time.
That's good. That's good. Come on out and see these guys. Everybody knows about legendary band. I'm so excited to see. I'm fanboying over Keith right now. That's what's happening.
Guilford County Schools hopes to spark student interest in a firefighting career. GCS partnered with Guilford Technical Community College to launch a high school cadet fire program this fall. Joel Davis is the director of the Fire Protection Technology Program at GTCC. He says the program will help curb the increasing shortage of emergency service responders in Guilford County.
They'll learn the skills that are necessary to become a firefighter, whether it's, climbing ladders, throwing ladders, dragging hose. They will do a little bit of medical care, learn how to tie the appropriate ropes and knots, ventilation skills, forcible entry skills.
The high school cadet program is open to any rising senior at Southern, Ragsdale, Southeast, or Andrews high schools. Students will receive credit for 540 contact hours when they complete the program. Once they finish, students will have one 40-hour class remaining to obtain an accredited firefighter certification.
We know college isn't for everybody, and this just gives them another avenue to pursue a very rewarding and beneficial career.
Last month, I sat down with GCS Superintendent Dr. Whitney Oakley to discuss the district's strategic direction for the upcoming school year. She said finding ways to create a talent pipeline to prepare students for the workforce is a major part of that plan.
We want to know in 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, what their pathways could be, what careers they could go into. So when businesses and school districts work together, we can create high wage, high demand jobs and have the students ready to fill them immediately.
There is no cost for the cadet fire program. Davis tells me depending on the size of the department, starting salaries for firefighters can be anywhere from $35,000 to $55,000. And that's a lot of money, especially coming straight out of high school. And then think about the benefits as well. I have a few friends who are firemen or firewomen, and they went to college or they did other jobs until they realized, hey, this is something that I want to do. Just think about all the money and some of the time they could have saved had they known early on.
I like how the schools are trying to fill positions in a creative way. We just did a story last night at 11 on how Alamance-Burlington Schools has a teacher cadet program where they're taking high school seniors and putting them through basically a pipeline that takes them from student to teacher. So they're getting creative with just trying to fill some of these roles that can be kind of difficult.
Absolutely, and I like how she said, young people want to know 4th grade, 5th grade, waiting till high school might be a little too late. So having a program in place like this now, think about our younger students. This is something they can aspire to do. So I think the district is really doing some good work here when it comes to that strategic plan and developing our workforce.
Absolutely. And if you're an adult and you want to take part in something that maybe will help your civic duty responsibilities, the City of Greensboro is accepting applications for its City Academy. It's designed to help people understand how the city works and be better engaged in it. Anyone who lives in Greensboro can join for free. Check the city's website for an application due by July 1st. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you've enjoyed our improving weather throughout the week. We really haven't been dealing with drizzle or cool weather or clouds any longer. It's kind of gotten more sunny as the week has worn on. Today, a little bit backwards, though. We were sunnier a few hours ago. Now clouds have started to roll in just a little bit. Subtle, but clear on satellite that those clouds have been coming in out of the east, and we'll continue to see more of them as we go through the rest of the evening. The chance of a sprinkle is really low, but can't rule it out in a couple of spots. View over the eastern half of the country right now, pretty dry for most, but watching that tropical swirl. I'll have more on that in just a second. Our local weather first. In fact, look how hot it is in the northern tier states. It's been in the 90s in Minnesota to Maine, even southern Canada. Montreal was 93 today, while we are comfortable in the 70s. It's a strange weather pattern that we're dealing with right now, but one that will continue going into tomorrow. It's going to be a little bit warmer. We'll have plenty of sunshine, getting into the 80s for the first time in over 2 weeks. That's what I'm expecting. We're at around 83 for your Friday, but as the weekend wears on, Saturday is going to be a hot day. Mid-80s for your highs. This cold front, though, marching down the coast could pop up a scattered thunderstorm or two for Saturday evening. That's the only real rain chance you have to worry about over the weekend. Mainly after 5 o'clock on Saturday would be when that could happen. That cool air you see is coming down the coast. So for your weekend forecast, here's how I see it. 86 for Saturday, dry through about 5 p.m., kind of iffy after that. Sunday in very good shape for cooler weather and temperatures only in the low 70s, so plan on that. Let's talk about the tropics, though. Today is June 1st. It is historically the first day of hurricane season. That's what we consider it. And you'll notice that this is a lot stronger than when I showed you this over the past couple of days. It's tightening up a circulation, and we have seen some clouds and rain showers as a result. What we mean by this is that there could be a tropical storm that forms right here near the Florida Panhandle anytime, either today, tomorrow, or the day after that. The good news for us is that it will be drifting south and away from land. If you go to the beach in North Carolina this weekend, you don't need to worry about it. It is not going to come here, and it never will. We're not worried about that system whatsoever. But a good reminder of what time of year we are going into. 7-day forecast, remember, there's a big cool down after Saturday. Mid-80s, nice and warm, but cooling off comfortably in the 70s for Sunday. After that, going into next week, temperatures will be right about where they should be this time of year, in the low 80s.
Hello, how now, brown cow? Actually, I've decided not to join y'all, so.
Every year, thousands of college women across the country rush sororities. One documentary has caused quite a bit of controversy as it promises an inside look at this process. Film critic Manning Frank sees how it lives up to the claim.
Even during filming, the documentary Bama Rush has gotten a lot of pushback for being a so-called expose. Although honestly, I'd call it more like over-promising and under-delivering.
We're getting ready to rush. Like, look at all the people already starting to line up.
Have you heard of the hashtag Bama Rush? And no, it's not some new show. Well, at least in the traditional sense. In 2021, the hashtags Bama Rush and hashtag Rush Talk were trending on, you guessed it, TikTok, and they both blew up. People were following these videos of these college girls as they attempted to rush sororities, in this case, specifically at the University of Alabama. In what has caused some considerable controversy, HBO Max, now known as Max, has made a documentary about this process. Of course, News 2 Reviews had to check it out.
Rush consists of 4 highly competitive rounds.
Let's be honest, I probably would not be going to Alabama if it did not blow up on TikTok. I'm nervited, which is like nervous and excited.
Every year, thousands of young women rush the various sororities at the University of Alabama. In the documentary Bama Rush, we get a candid look at the passion, the hope, and the expectations of this process. Through the eyes of former college students, reporters, the young women pledging, and the director herself, we get a composite of thoughts and feelings from behind the curtain. Admittedly, the entire rush process and sorority life in general eludes me, but that's not a barrier for this documentary. Documentarian Rachel Fleet makes this documentary plainly accessible for all audiences while simultaneously offering compelling visuals and equally compelling subjects. The core 4 potential pledges at Bama are what gives this film its life. The camera follows them around as they, along with ourselves, explore the complex dynamics of rushing. Where the documentary falters, though, is that in its meager runtime, it's trying to unravel and explain far too many hot-button topics in relationship to sorority life, specifically those of the University of Alabama. One piece involves the director, Fleet, giving her own college story in small anecdotes throughout the film. Yet this participatory filmmaking aspect only adds to the unfocused nature of it all. The doc paddles around like a pebble skipping across the water, never going deep enough to truly offer anything substantial to say. Bama Rush would have been an excellent docuseries, with each episode tackling a particular topic ranging from societal pressures to fit into Greek life to historical racial segregation of sororities, each topic ripe for candid conversations. Instead, despite strong themes, it feels far too disjointed to make a lasting impact. I'm giving Bama Rush a for you to decide. You can stream it only on Max.
You know, so I was never a part of Greek life.
Same.
But I've always been fascinated by it because there is such a hush within it. I mean, from the people who are in it and the people who are not in it.
Right, yes.
You don't get to see, there isn't like a curtain pulled back on a lot of the things that occur inside rushing and inside Greek life. So I have been always fascinated by it.
As someone who is in a sorority and joined in college, I think it's important to note that every organization is different, every council is different, and every process is different. I haven't seen this documentary. I do plan to watch it, but for those who see it, I think they should just take it for what it is and don't think that what you see there is what all organizations are like, because everyone has different values.
And I tried to make sure I said that multiple times in the review, specifically the University of Alabama. And that was the one that blew up on TikTok, hashtag Bama Rush. So that's the one that they're focusing on in this documentary, and I feel like there were a lot of good ideas, as I was saying, that are, again, ready for a good, nice, deep conversation about sorority life, fraternity life, Greek life in general. I just feel like they try to do far too much.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen that, as I said, a docuseries, like each 30-minute segments kind of having a conversation.
Just a more focus. It's kind of hard to get all those different bullet points you were mentioning in probably, an hour and some change?
It was hour 40, and it could have done at least 2 hours, at least, guys. But I don't know. It was not the best documentary. A lot of controversy for a documentary that I thought was really underwhelming, y'all.
Yeah.
So come on, let's calm down.
All right, you said it's on Max.
It's on Max, formerly HBO Max.
Yes.
So they recently made that change for better or for worse.
All right, thanks, Manny.
Thank
We'll be
you.
right back.
Bradley, can you hear me? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13.
Hey, mic check. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
The timeout is over, halftime also over, and we are Thursday, Friday Junior.
Okay, I was like, where are we going with
Sports Fun Thursday.
Yeah, right. I see. So I see up on the screen here on the teleprompter, we're talking about the NBA Finals. So I was trying to, and it just
He was trying to make a connection between sports and weather and Thursday.
Yeah.
Trying to make a half-court shot.
Yeah. Well, so speaking of sports, are we making a slam dunk with the weather today?
I think so. It's pretty good out there. Slam dunk.
I did a good job with that one.
Good job. I'm Chad Silver. That's Tim Buckley. That's Lauren Coleman. And we're about to see our fourth member here.
Yes, Jalen Gilkey. Let's hop into some news now. Today is game 1 of the NBA Finals as the Miami Heat get ready to take on the Denver Nuggets. Both teams have guys with ties to North Carolina.
Yeah, that's right. WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey got reaction from a couple triad coaches who used to coach 2 of the Heat players.
Yeah, guys, this year's NBA Finals matchup features 4 guys with ties back here in North Carolina, but the Miami Heat's Caleb Martin and Bam Adebayo hold a special place in their heart for the triad. And today I spoke with 2 coaches that know these young men very well. As the Miami Heat make the push for their 4th NBA championship in franchise history, 2 of their most important players once called the triad home.
You know, Caleb just knew that if you put in the time and the work, you know, he would get an opportunity and he would take full advantage of it. And obviously he has.
Mike Absher coached Caleb Martin for his first 3 years of high school at Davie County. And he says from the very first time he saw Caleb and his twin brother Cody play, he knew they were destined for greatness.
You know, even when they played in the rec league in Knoxville, everybody was talking about them. And then, you know, again, when they got to middle school, obviously I saw them play a ton, and you're like, yeah, these guys, they're they're different. And, you know, obviously then I was fortunate enough to coach, coach both of them, their freshman, sophomore, and junior years at Davie County High School, which was tremendous.
After going undrafted in 2019 and being cut by the Hornets in 2021, Caleb Martin has made a name for himself down in South Beach.
To be able to hit those shots and to make those plays and to defend at such a high level in the middle of the biggest stage is just tremendous. So, yeah, I'm not going to lie to you. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
Absher isn't the only former coach from our area beaming with pride. Former High Point Christian boys basketball coach Brandon Clifford knows exactly how he's feeling.
He's earned everything. He's obviously been blessed, but I mean, he has earned everything that he's gotten, and it couldn't happen to a better human being.
Adebayo moved to High Point to join the Cougars for his senior season.
This was all talked about. You know, we had a lot of conversations and trips back home, you know, when I take him home to see mom on the weekends, just about, you know, what he wants out of this game. And it was always about winning with him. And so to see him get to a finals for a second time, you know, and then, you know, win an Olympic gold medal. I mean, he is, you know, he was a starter on the USA Olympic team. I mean, he's become one of the best players in the world.
No matter what Bam accomplishes on the court, Coach Clifford is more proud of the man he's become.
Watching him on TV, you know, sitting in the stands, watching him play, like that's a great experience. But then just knowing him and knowing who he is as a person and what he's doing outside of basketball, that's what really, you know, what I hold dear to my heart.
Tonight at 8:30, Martin and Adebayo will look to move one game closer to being named NBA champions, and the Triad will be pulling for.
It was such a cool story, and really, Caleb Martin. I mean, what a journey that he has been on. I mean, his stint with Charlotte, and to be able to come back with Miami and just do so well, it's great to see.
It is super cool, man. You know, Cody was fortunate enough to be drafted in the end of the second round that year. Caleb went undrafted, was signed by the Hornets. He made the roster, back and forth with Greensboro and Charlotte. Gets cut, then he finds a landing spot in Miami, and now he's just carved out a space for himself to now. I mean, with the way he's played in the playoffs, it looks like he's going to get a long-term deal worth a considerable amount of money. So
I love hearing the sound from the coach, because that has to be a really, warm feeling to know you coach this person and they're super successful and like internationally known. That has to be a great feeling.
And Coach Absher just mentioned just the amount of work that Caleb has put in since he's known him, when no one looked. And when he wasn't drafted, and through the ups and downs and everything and all the adversity he's dealt with in his life, he knew that this moment would come for this young man. And now he's just so happy to see it. He actually got kind of choked up when we were talking. It was pretty cool.
I'm really glad you did the story though, because if you don't have a rooting interest, imagine we don't have a lot of Heat fans locally. We don't have a lot of Denver Nugget fans, right? I don't care about either team. Now I'm going to root for the Heat like the whole way.
Absolutely.
And they're the underdog anyway, 8th seed in the finals.
Exactly.
What are you talking
I mean, they've
about?
had such a great story coming out to play in.
Yeah.
Just earning everything, just grinding away, knocking off all the top teams in the Eastern Conference, and now here they are faced up against the #1 seed in the entire NBA.
Everybody thought they could take them down.
Cool. All right, go Heat. Jalen, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, let's move on to some local news here. 2 Guilford County School Board members are suing all of the other board members over how it filled a vacant seat. For weeks, we have been following the fight over the seat between some board members and the Guilford County Republican Party. The party wanted Michael Logan to fill the seat, but the board repeatedly denied his nomination and instead appointed their own nominee, Bill Goebel. Well, Logan and 2 board members are now suing every other board member, saying they violated state law. They claim the members illegally held closed-door meetings and phone conversations with Goebel regarding the board vacancy. The lawsuit asks the judge to rule that Goebel's appointment was illegal, remove him from the board, and instead appoint Logan. In response, Goebel told us last night the lawsuit is very disappointing and takes from the main thing, which is working for the improvement of our schools, for the students and parents of not only my District 3, but the entire GCS system.
You have a chance to weigh in today on Guilford County's budget proposal. Almost half of the $830 million budget would go to Guilford County Schools and Guilford Technical Community College. It also sets aside more than $2 million in economic incentives in hopes of attracting more companies to the county. You can weigh in on the proposal tonight at the Guilford County Commissioners meeting at the Old Courthouse. It starts at 5:30.
There's a similar meeting next Tuesday to weigh in on the budget for the city of Greensboro. The proposal includes pay raises for some city employees and a property tax and water bill increase. If approved, the proposal also includes a property tax relief program and water bill assistance for low-income residents.
Your Duke Energy bill might soon be going up. The company will ask for permission tomorrow to increase bills by nearly 5%. If state utility regulators approve the request, new rates will be in place by October 1st.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the weather, which a large portion of this week and certainly last weekend was kind of a sore subject. Now that's not the case. Things have sorted themselves out and we're having nicer weather yet again. Taking a live look at our cameras, this proves to you what the sky is looking like. Currently, we do have scattered cloud cover. Much of the day was pretty sunny, but now we've seen some clouds arrive from our east. Looking at temperatures, you can tell who's been sunnier. All of these folks, looking at you in Wilkes, Yadkin, Surrey, Stokes County, still blue sky over there. That's why you're closer to 80. Burlington, only 74. Siler City down to 70 with a couple of sprinkles right now. The winds are still out of the northeast, which is a cooler wind direction for us. There are the clouds showing up on satellite, and yes, there have been a couple sprinkles, as I said, near Siler City. Now they've moved closer to Ramseur, parts of Randolph County. Again, just a tiny bit of rain, not a big problem, but something that you might notice and I want you to be aware about. Going into tomorrow, mid-60s to start in the morning. I do expect lots of sunshine pretty much all day. We'll be in the mid-80s for your Friday afternoon. It's a gorgeous day of weather. I hope you can get out and enjoy it because it's been difficult to time out the weather nicely for our weekends. Saturday should be okay through about 4 to 5 p.m. After that, it is a little bit a gamble. We'll have a couple scattered thunderstorms and then cooler weather is set to arrive by Sunday. So take a careful look at the weekend here. Figure out which day you want to be outside and which one you don't. 86 for Saturday, 73 on Sunday. Two very different feels outside this weekend. And again, that rain chance is mostly after 5 p.m. on your Saturday. Going into next week, looking mainly dry and pretty comfortable. Temperatures right around 80 degrees.
It's the time of year you might notice some sea turtle eggs at the beach. Cape Lookout National Seashore posted these pictures showing the nest and tracks from the mama leatherback sea turtle. It is the first nest found along the seashore this season. It's so important that if you come across one of those nests, leave it alone.
Watch these fish fly. The upper lake at Country Park in Greensboro is stocked up with about 600 fish. Greensboro Parks and Recreation posted this video of the fish being launched into the lake. Fishing passes are available for purchase at the Country Park office for $2. You do need a valid North Carolina fishing license. This is something I never thought of before, that fish are put in there for fishermen or fisherwomen to partake in. I just kind of thought they just lived.
They were
already there, naturally there.
Yeah, they have to do a lot of that.
Okay.
And, I did a story on it many years ago when it was before I even came to Greensboro, and it's just so cool. They have like all these little fish hatcheries where they grow the fish from nothing and then stock the lakes with them.
That's very, very cool.
Well, what do you think they feel though when they get shot out of that cannon?
Like Evel Knievel.
I mean, I hope they're okay. I'm sure they're fine, right? But fish have feelings too.
It's crazy.
Don't you think?
600 fish.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we are going to go catch them and eat them.
I know, that's what I was like.
Right. And they start out in these little like a fish tank, and then all of a sudden you're shot through this cannon, and now you're in a huge lake.
I'm going to say it looked pretty cool though. Like I've just never seen that before I thought about it. So.
This is why you got to watch the 4 to 5. We show you all this cool stuff.
That's true.
Maybe you can use it on Jeopardy one day.
Yeah. Hey Eric, how's it going?
You know, I didn't know what you were talking about because all of a sudden I turned my earpiece on and I just hear Chad saying being shot through a cannon. I'm just going to let that go. I'm not sure what they're talking about. Hey, we're out here at the Town Bank Beach Music Festival. This is so much fun. Band of Oz, big name playing tonight. Everybody's excited. Now, a lot of you, if you're from the area, you know beach music's been around a long time, but it has not been around as long as Barrico. Tom and Will Barrico, the barrier with the Barrico Company, you guys are sponsoring this. We appreciate y'all coming out and doing that.
Good to be here. I tell you, the Band of Oz coming to Greensboro is a big deal for downtown and for Barrico. Barrico's the sponsor of the event, and we have been looking forward to this for several weeks now. If you're planning on coming, you better get on out here because it's going to be a big time.
That's right. We're going to talk more with them in just a minute, but you got time to get out here, folks. We'll see you on the other side of the commercial break coming up.
Hey guys, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie, they forever go together like a classic combination. Okay, so tell me.
In school.
When I did a story on it, they brought me out when
How's that? That okay? If you want all that stuff in there. If you want all that stuff, I was doing it so that you would see just the door and the other thing. Go back to where it was. Yeah. Yep. Right. Yep. $16. Yeah, can you show me more like here? Like see the table and here. Oh, I see. Okay, so go more that way. Go back over there. Go back over there. Yeah, like right there. That way I can kind of walk all around this way, yeah? Yeah? Okay. It is one step in front of the other. That's right. You can walk to places, right? You can walk around things. You can just walk because you want to walk, because you can walk, because we're walking. We're doing our steps. Doesn't everybody do your steps? Ooh. Hey, do you guys keep track of your steps?
I can't tell if you're waiting for our answer
keeping track of your steps.
Keep going.
Should I join you?
Yes, you can join me. You can walk around. Does anybody else keep track of their steps?
I don't.
I have an Apple Watch. I have not been wearing it lately, but it does let me know if I've gotten my steps in.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about today was the whole 10,000 step thing. Yeah, so remember this right here.
Remember that there's no one correct number of steps for every person. Any amount of walking that gets you up and out of your chair is a step in the right direction.
To figure out your step goal, start by quantifying just how many steps you get in a typical week. Then increase your daily average by 500. Once you can hit that new number regularly for about a week's time, add another 500 steps.
Higher step counts have been associated with a lower risk of things like sleep apnea, reflux, and depression. But even a 15-minute stroll can help improve your mood, reduce stress, and help you sleep better.
All right, so steps.
Look at all those steps.
You've been doing steps.
Adds up. Yeah, a couple months, maybe like 10,000 a day-ish. I will say that's more steps than you think. At least.
I was going to ask, is it hard?
So given the jobs that we have, we're mostly in the building throughout the day. You don't get too many, maybe a couple thousand of just being at work. So before the work day, I usually do like a long walk, and I go 3-4 miles, and that'll get me to that 10,000 hump.
And 10,000 steps is about 5 miles.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Wow, okay.
That is a lot.
I don't mark keep track of my steps.
But you run.
Yeah.
So you run like a mile, you run 2 miles, you keep track of that part.
Sure, it's more the rings.
Rings. That's what I was using too.
I just keep track of the rings.
Right, and you make sure that you're closing those rings.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So the graduated step thing I thought was really good about how, you know, if you don't do a lot of steps, try doing this amount, right? And then try and work up and do that amount for like a week and a half before you decide, okay, that's going to be the next goal kind of thing.
The technology can be good motivators, but they can also be good at shaming you, right? Like, you
I
have
would
not
agree.
moved in 2 hours.
Yes, and then it lets you know.
Let's figure something out.
And I turned off the feature on my watch where it said, you should stand up now.
Because you were like, I'm done with standing up right now.
Let me do what I want.
Although I do think that sometimes it makes me think to myself, you know what, if I just took a 1-minute fast walk around the office, it would help me focus just a little bit better, right? Because then I get back and I'm like, okay, I haven't been just like staring at a computer screen the entire time.
And I have seen you in the sales department walking around. You're going like this to make sure your
going
watch
my hands.
reads your steps.
Yeah.
I want it to count.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
I am an aggressive walker. I will say that when I walk, like I'm swinging those arms.
See,
right?
I'm kind of surprised that you haven't actually gotten like one of those treadmill desks. So you don't even have to walk.
I have seen those on
you
TV.
can walk and just while you're
do
working
that.
on your
I
computer.
do have a stand-up desk, but I don't have a treadmill desk. That could be next.
Not saying that you need it. I'm just saying like because I know that
Everybody
you are
needs
like
to do
always
steps.
walking.
What if
Right?
all of us had treadmill desks and someone comes into the newsroom and we're just
walking
on
the whole
our
time? All right, so but if you're looking for a good step or fitness tracker, because like you said, it can hold you accountable and it can and help you out. Consumer Reports has a few, and I'll have the info in my web story.
All right, get moving.
No, Tom. Yep. And Tom's right beside me. This is Tom.
The weather is perfect for an outdoor concert in downtown Greensboro tonight. Eric is at First National Bank Field for the Town Bank Beach Music Festival. And besides the weather, what a perfect venue for some beach music, Eric.
I know, this is great, and I'll apologize. I got so excited last time around. They were telling me, go to commercial break. Chilton never stops talking. That's the problem. Tom and Will Berry with Barrico. My goodness, we were talking to Beach Music's been around since the 1940s, but how long has this company been around?
We've been around 100 years. My grandfather started in 1924, and we're proud to have Will on board as fourth generation ownership of Barrico. It's a big deal, just like beach music is a big deal.
This is
fun tonight.
Oh, this is so. I mean, this is bringing the community together, right? I mean, that's why you guys probably were a part of this.
Absolutely. What a great evening to be a part of the community that supported us for 100 years. And, we're glad beach music is back. The Band of Oz here tonight. We're excited. I think they got kicked off in the mid-'60s, early '70s maybe. Yeah. And so come on out. It's going to be a great evening. Finally some good weather for us.
Yeah, finally.
Downtown Greensboro has done so much over the last few years. And this Beach Music Festival is something that people in the community can come out and enjoy and see what's going on downtown, and you have dinner before or after this event. But beach music is something that we've been doing now for probably 15 years with a break during COVID, and we've been involved in it and proud to be involved in it. And we just want everybody that, if you're thinking about, you got plenty of time, if you're thinking about coming downtown, come on and see the Band of Oz, because we're gonna have a big time.
Beach music has been a fabric of North Carolina and South Carolina for decades. So they're right. We got space for you. Lots of space waiting for you right out there.
Well, speaking of beach music, wouldn't it be nice to be at the beach? I asked you on Facebook what drink you enjoy most by the water. Malcolm says, if not beer, water or iced tea. Brittany, Bahama Mama. Terry says sparkling raspberry water. Matt Greer, gin and juice. And then Samson Bell said coconut water. So a little variation there. I know for me, it depends on the temperature of the weather outside. If it's super, super hot, I'm going to have to say water, because I don't want to be dehydrated.
Stay hydrated.
But if it's a nice little breeze, I would say maybe a glass of white wine. But since my recent trip to Mexico, Caprinas are like my new
Oh, really?
drink.
With the lime?
Yes,
Very
they're so
refreshing.
sweet. It's kind of like a lemonade a little bit. I liked it.
Tim?
Once a year, okay, there's only like once, I get a pina colada. I like only once a year, because after I drink one, I always feel bad. Like sick to my stomach, but they taste so
They taste
good.
very good.
I can't resist like that one time.
Yeah, for me, it's really any like ice cold drink. It's got to be cold, right?
Cold.
Like no warm room temperature
No
drink.
hot chocolate.
Right. And there's a drink I made it up. It's called the Silver Mule, and it's grapefruit vodka, ginger beer, and a lemon or a lime and a grapefruit slice. And that is my go-to. Poolside, waterside, all the sides.
When I said the hot chocolate, it seemed like you were about to say something.
Hot chocolate?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought we were talking about cold drinks.
We were, but I said no hot chocolate, and you made a face. I thought you were gonna.
You have to purchase one of those either a Yeti or something that keeps your drink staying cold.
Yes.
You have to. If you're going to be at the beach and it's 90 degrees, you got to have one of those things that keeps it cold.
And
water, whatever.
A much better weekend at the beach this weekend than last.
Yes. Sorry, I know you.
No, I'm sorry.
It'll be better this weekend. Maybe you can go back. We do have good weather here too. Locally, if you're sticking around in our Triad area, it's pretty nice right now. We're in comfortable conditions. We have partly cloudy skies at the moment. Everything is in good shape. Scattered clouds here. There will be a couple of sprinkles moving through our eastern counties for the rest of this evening, but it shouldn't be a big problem. Looking at the forecast across the eastern United States, honestly, we're one of the coolest spots on the map, if you can believe that. It's been in the 80s and 90s up in southern Canada, New England, and the Great Lakes. Here in the Carolinas, we've been only in the 70s, as you know. That's not going to last too much longer. Going into tomorrow, I expect 80s to start to make a comeback to us. We'll be in the 60s in the morning with sunshine. We'll warm up into the mid-80s for the afternoon. And then going into the weekend itself, Saturday should be that day is really the warmest for our area. I'm expecting mid-80s. There will be a scattered chance of a thunderstorm Saturday evening, mostly after 5 o'clock. So take your pick. We look at the weekend. Both days are quite different. 86 for Saturday, 73 for Sunday, sticking around average heading into next week. Have you ever been to Ember on?
No, I've been wanting to go. That's where they have the rotisserie like chicken.
Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the caipirinhas they have are excellent.
We're told to shelter in place, and helicopters from other agencies hovered.
Hello, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
It's called milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic.
Actions which involved pouring cement into toilets. Solari told
Hello, mic check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The Band of Oz.
about half the students not allowed to walk at their graduation ceremonies go here to Williams High School. They, along with all the other students, are able to pick up their diplomas on June 12th during normal business hours. Live here in Burlington, Amber Lake, WFMY News 2. What I look like? Crap. It's the hair, isn't it? I'm gonna be in a tall box. We got a head nod. We got a head nod. Guys, today we talked with one of the main students involved in the prank gone wrong here at Williams High School. Because of his actions, along with several others across Alamance County, 83 students in the district are not going to be able to walk at their graduation ceremony. 18-year-old Alex Solari.
I've recently been helping our management interview candidates who are being considered for jobs here, both on air and behind the scenes. It's quite the process that I haven't really been a part of until recently. The biggest takeaway for me that I wasn't really expecting, a new appreciation for the things that make the Triad unique. As with any company trying to recruit or attract new employees from out of state, you've got to sell the area where you live. Honestly, it's been pretty easy to sell the Triad. We all know the natural beauty and endless things to do, but a lot of people from other states don't know much about this area. Most of the time, when Greensboro or the Triad are in the national spotlight, it's for a sporting event like the NCAA tournament or the NASCAR All-Star race. We don't often get credit for the mountains, the beach close by, our cost of living, or the moderate weather throughout much of the year. I shared much of that with the candidates who are considering moving here. They all seem surprised by what they learned. Now, don't you be surprised when you see some new faces on your TV in the very near future. That's just my 2 cents. And your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5.